huge part of development that isn't often considered is what happens when the building stops, the long-term management. Because a lot of developers come into a neighborhood, they plan, they build, they sell, and they leave. They don't have a long-term vested interest. And if you don't have a long-term vested interest in the community over 15, 20, 50 years, then I think any development design or plan is going to have shortcomings. So at Battersea Power Station, the vision has always been for the shareholders to retain the long-term site. And that allows you not to have to think about the bottom line day one. You start to think about, well, actually, what the place will be like in 15, 20 years. What is the right tenant for a retail unit? You don't just lease to the first international tenant that exists on every single high street. You go, let's do something special. Let's get a one-off startup. Let's get an independent British fashion designer to open their first store here. And all that, the collective of these unique things, a unique cinema provider, a unique music venue, one-off retail, great restaurants on the riverfront that you've never heard of before as an operator. All these sort of one-off things create a collective mass that's just going to draw people all over London, all over the world to this site. So I think there's three things that we're trying to do differently at Battersea. There's a lot of small things, but the three major things we're trying to do different. One is long-term management. So actually, when we start planning the site day one, we realize we're going to be here in 50 years' time, also looking after the neighborhood. The second is the power station. It brings the authenticity that actually most other developments in London, frankly around the world, lack. And the third is about sort of great design, so new architecture, new buildings, raising the bar. So actually, it isn't just the power station by itself. It actually competes against sort of wonderful new architecture by the like of Frank Gehry or Bjarke Ingels. Huge part for us at Battersea was realizing there is an amazing existing community, and what we didn't want to do was to land a spaceship down with no context to the area. We're linking up with people like Battersea Arts Centre, with the Royal College of Art on the other side of the park. There's a wonderful existing community, and Battersea has to integrate with those people, that actually we rise up as a whole new neighbourhood together. The power station has been nearly 35 years now since it was decommissioned, and that's a long time of legacy of nothing happening. There's been several development plans, but I think there's been a pro and a con of nothing happening at the power station for so long. What it does is, the benefit is everybody wants something to happen, and the more this building was unloved, the more the public took ownership of it. The drawback is that because they love this building so much, there's so much expectation. You cannot come out and do the same thing that every other developer is doing here. You've got to raise the bar and create a community that just blows people away. What will Battersea be in 25 years? I mean, I think there's just no development like this. There's parts of the world that have little tasters and that we've taken the best from, the meatpacking district in New York and its industrial nature, or South Bank in London and the curation and the festival, and Battersea's got to be the best of everything. It's got to be, the best place to work. It's got to be the place that, you cannot get up on a Friday morning without going on our website to see what you're going to do at Battersea tonight, because it's ever-changing curation. It's just got to raise the bar from everything else. I think the strongest legacy Battersea Power Station could have is in 10, 15 years' time, developers will look at this, and they look at two things: the success of the community and everybody who loves living and working here, but they also look at the success of us as a business, and they finally realize that putting together creation of community and the creation of value work as one. And actually, as developers, it inspires them to think a little more about what they're doing for their bottom line and also for communities.